All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your watch list coming in November 12th, 2019, and it's looking like a good sign for some of our plays from the watch list because CNBC stole some of our stock picks, apparently. Well, maybe I'm being dramatic, but some of you guys sent me some of these clips. Either way, I thought it was cool, but we saw two unique things happen with some of the plays we brought up, and one of the plays I brought up today, and it actually even got talked about literally right after market close. And a lot of you guys sent me that, so I want to go over that play. They even described their logic with it, which is kind of the criteria we've been looking at, which I thought was pretty cool. So can't wait to share that with you guys. We're going to go over the plays we made today. So if you did miss out on the stream today, you didn't get to see when we executed it, or you kept asking, hey, what's the play? What's the play? Again, even if CNBC could come afterwards or anybody, it's not really about getting it intraday all the time. Again, there was a huge move on Boeing today, and now that was one where if you had your stream insurance, your stream alerts, and you didn't miss that news right when it came out, you would have made 1,000%. That was a crazy play. We'll talk about that. We caught it super early. Shout out Mr. Hits on that, baby. But regardless, I want to go over the plays that we made today so you guys could get a better understanding of the stock plays that we have coming into earnings. And so you guys get a better idea of how to apply it to your account. So we're going to go over that. We're going to go over some of the plays to watch for tomorrow. And then I got your keys as well. So you guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And the most important thing you need to do, post your watch list below. Let's source that information. Y'all saw the power even with Boeing of what we could do by sourcing information. So let us know what you're playing, what you're looking at. If you've gotten on any of these earnings plays, share that info. Let's get an idea. And also, don't forget, baby, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description, and it is pinned in the comments. You can watch every single trade executed live. It costs free $99. All you got to do is like the video and be respectful and be positive. Please contribute, post your plays as well, but you could tune in throughout any time through the trading day. If any news drops from Boeing or any plays or anything people come up with, there's a lot we're going to talk about, but it was all live on stream. And you could even go to the live streaming channel and watch the recap too if you ever miss anything. So let us not delay and let us get into the keys. I'm going to switch gears on you guys real quick because I got the Grim Reaper on my mind. But in all seriousness, watch companies and news. It's been an interesting week. Again, we're coming off low volume because of the holiday today, but it wasn't that low. But kind of where we're at is getting me a little bit suspicious. But now that earnings are wrapping up, I wouldn't be surprised if there is anything that's going to take a leg down instead of giving us that short squeeze we talked about a week ago. It could be the Grim Reaper. And what I mean by the Grim Reaper is a big market cap company just getting the clap and just dying a 10, 20, 30% out of nowhere. So we might see that. It could be upward or downside guidance. It could be bad news. It could even be a scandal. We saw stuff with Google today, them harvesting medical data. So watch out for all of those. But I'm feeling that could be contributing there. So I'm keeping a tentative eye on that and even being careful with how I position it because we've been talking about letting some time go by before we actually see the move because there's been so much action already. But if anything, there's a lot of things to be watching. You know, even specifically today, we had three big leaders. We'll go over Boeing, but they had a big move up. That was like 4.5%. Walgreens went back up 7% off the KKR taking them private. So that was that play we played last week. It dropped. It's back above now where we paid for it. I think it closed just below. And then Apple went around above his 262 today, all-time highs. So those led the market up a lot. That's why you got the push and pull. The VIX ended up closing up. The Dow Jones was up, but the NASDAQ and S&P were down. But watch out for rotations, both in and out of stocks and breakouts and breakdowns in earnings, and we saw a lot of that today. So the continuations are still on watch, and we're going to go over some of those that were still in play and that we saw big moves on today. But the market is still moving like it is in earnings mode. So we saw some of those weird, kind of the market doing its own thing, individual names in the market kind of, balancing itself from all these weird sporadic averages moving. But my thoughts on yesterday still apply. I want to wait for things to unfold to pinpoint exactly what. However, this is what's going to lead now into the plays and what I was saying with CNBC, because even today I was like, I don't know. I feel like we should be taking it slow. And I ended up going pretty big. I spent I think about $1,000 on Walmart playing it both ways, as well as AMAT too. So those were the two plays. And then I also got the last one's Skywork. So before we talk about CNBC shenanigans, let us get into the plays. Let's go over what we did today, and you guys can see the first one. As far as Qualcomm goes, we lost 2,000 of that 7,000 gain. We were up, but we went over that strategy, still in that win-win position. So Qualcomm got slapped a little bit. It came down, but still right below the 92.50. So they got a downgrade as well too, but it could play out a little bit different here coming towards the end of the week. So we're going to keep holding that. AMAT. But as far as the other plays we made now, these were the ones today. Now you could see here, 6:33 a.m. we got the November 27th 128 calls. So these are the ones we put on the watch list yesterday. And as you see, this is what I'm saying. As long as you guys are watching the watch list, even any of the plays I want to be looking at tomorrow or anything, once you kind of have the idea of how to play the direction, you could either get it in the morning or at close. And we're going to talk about watching the earnings plays and how to go about that. But as far as what went on here, though, you see 633. I bought 10 of these at 21 cents. So it was like $200. But then you come over here, then you could see the option. The open interest is only 114 before. There's in that first 3 minutes, that's us. And then really what happens right after that, the option goes a little crazy, and you could see it close with 8,600 in calls. And we also saw volume come into the 130s that we got later, but this was the biggest surprise there because this was one of the biggest option transactions on Walmart all day. So it even got triggered as some unusual volume by scanner. So that's the first interesting one because we got it, but we saw a lot of volume come in afterwards. So I don't know if it's from the videos, what it may be, or a lot of people or the markets might start agreeing. So that's the first play we did. And then I'll come down back to the AMAT, but now this was the other one on this level of I'm noticing this volume, and it was interesting because then this made me kind of both maybe a little bit glad that we went a little bit bigger because it's either, it could be people copying the play, but for the most part, that's a lot of volume. If anything, I think this is getting attractive, kind of like the Qualcomm did. I think we just got really good timing on it. We're going to see, but this is just confirmation our idea was good. I mean, I don't care where it shows up, who does it. I mean, this is, $250,000 almost confirming that. So putting that into perspective now, here's the next play, Skyworks. This was the play that came up on Fast Money After Hours. A few people sent me, I don't know if they mentioned the play. I just saw that they were talking Skyworks in their reasoning, but now they gave the same analysis here as we've been doing for all the other plays. So it was a Skyworks, what I did in November 22nd, 87.5 put. I bought 5 of those at 35 cents. And then I got a November 22nd 112 call, and I got 5 of those at 35 cents. So now what they said on CNBC was that it usually moves 7 to 8%, but earnings, and they said the exact same thing. They said the earnings is pricing in 6% move, and they get the earnings by selling the at the money straddle where you just sell these two contracts and then you could price it in. So it was even pricing in 7% at one point, but these are the plays we got. And if we want to put it here on the curve, I had to get rid of that. You could see here's where we're at. So now you could take a look. This is why I like this play, and this is how it meets the criteria. It's pricing in just about 75%, a little less actually, because again, this would be that 75% mark. So it's like right there, give or take. Again, when I saw it, it was a little bit higher, but then you could see where we're positioned. The call side, we were able to position ourselves right outside of one standard deviation. So that's a high chance it's going to hit there. And then we're a little bit further on the puts, but now the difference was how much we paid for both of them. It cost 35 cents. So that's a cheap play. We were able to play, $150, like $300 both ways. That's a little bit more of a bigger play, but you could have got away with this play kind of even like a Expedia, where if you just put $35 both sides if you had a smaller account. So that's that play. That's what fits there. And then even going to the Walmart. So I did those first sets of Walmart in the morning. That is what was big. And let's actually bring these up here so you guys can see it's the same thing now, but now you see Walmart's pricing in a little bit more than 75 or almost just right there. But now you can see where we're positioned. The 128s, those are really good because we're right there. The 130s a little further off, and then so is the 107. So the puts are kind of far off. We got them at a decently cheap price. If we did spend a little bit more like we did on the morning, or if we were able to snag the prices, we would have been a lot better there. But again, this is meeting the criteria where it's expecting a big pricing, and you could still get just right outside of one standard deviation for pretty much sub 30, 40 cents. And it has the potential, a higher market cap. And again, when we even looked at everything else, you'll see Skyworks has, dropped and popped, and they have their guidances down. Walmart's had some fire quarters, and anytime Walmart's really had a quarter coming off of some of these lower guidance and kind of the stuff there, it's good. And again, you can see here, IV's dropping before. And what's different about Walmart, the historical volatility is lower than the actual implied volatility, which you don't really see until after the earnings move occurs. So keep that in mind. But those aren't the big factors as far as just even the price and how close or far you're getting from the money there. So there was that play. And then lastly, we got the ANETs, baby. Let me X out these. Oh, excuse me, AMAT. And again, I did 2 separate orders on this. Kind of like Walmart, you could see. I'm more bullish on some of these, especially when they're higher up. I did Skyworks equally, but AMAT has the chance to be a big mover. And I think this is one of those obscure movers that could go a lot. It's kind of, again, just like even like where Skyworks is at. And I don't know if I showed you even Skyworks. You guys could even go watch that CNBC thing. But again, it's just at this key level of support. And the thing I like with Skyworks, They mentioned the pricing, it meets the criteria, but I forgot to mention this is like a cheaper NVIDIA play in my book. Again, it's related to Apple. We've seen what Apple's done. It's in the chip space. If they do good or NVIDIA does good, we could see it back and forth. And again, I just think the IV is a lot lower than playing something like NVIDIA. But then here's AMAT. AMAT is one of those obscure ones because it's had some pretty big moves in the past. It looks like a slow mover, and that's kind of even why I like it here, because again, you can see guidance is pretty low, but it's had big drops. So this could either be one that ends up dropping, or if it does go up, it could be good. But this does kind of remind me of Square a little bit. So you guys remember what happened last week with Square? I think I did the same. I played a decent amount of size on that one too, but we really need a surprise, and the company has to do a lot better, so the low guidance helps, but some of these companies aren't meant to move. Skyworks, on the other hand, is usually a big mover, so that'll be good to watch there too. So there's that AMAT, and then lastly too, I think the final play, I think I'm jumping around here. No, I think I showed you guys, we did two sets. We did 128 and 130s on Walmart, but those are my two sets, and now I'm going to wait. I might get more puts on there, but the key I want to talk about here, though, with it is watching these earnings plays and watch how they move into earnings. You know, that's even what I'm going to be looking for now coming into tomorrow. I want to see how the premiums react. Again, I'm using the place markers we have on Walmart, Skyworks, all that, and depending on what they do, that could either say, okay, we're going to keep our position, the premiums are holding, but if the prices change a lot, we might even do another play. So you got to be prepared for that. You know, I want to see how they react. I want to see if we can make plays free, or if we could even play an IV push and go even harder and then flip them and get them free. We'll see. But again, it's all going to depend. But now the key with earnings is waiting to have a reference point for the strike prices. And this is why I usually even go to the day before or the day of, because then if the stock moves a lot, like if Walmart, now that reports on Thursday, the last day you could buy it is Wednesday, but if it moves down to 116 in the next few days or shoots up to 122, all the prices and reference points of how much it's going to move after earnings, that's going to change. So sometimes, although you take the risk and you could make money on the move up or down or the premium going in earnings, if the underlying moves too much, it's going to change all the place markers around. And what would have been a good play today, the calls or puts, one direction may be more expensive, but then you're able to get a more accurate pinpointing of where the stock is at to be able to say, okay, 6% from here, versus if it moves 2-3% the day before earnings, then that you know, a 6% was a 3%. Now the put is 9% away. Hopefully you guys are following along with me on that. So watch out for that. Those were the plays we made today. As far as another one, we also got FSCT. I did this instead of Boeing. They had a rumor that they were exploring their sale. I saw this one on Twitter. People were talking about it. It had a pretty big push, and you could kind of see coming in from its earnings, and even the volume was big today. So that was one aspect of it. But then now the next level was Boeing. This had a crazy move. The contracts went 1,000%, and you can see here we got it on the stream alert. Shout out Mr. Hits again. It started popping, and we got, you know, we put that out at 8:43, and then you could see here I wasn't able to confirm the news a few minutes later. It said that the 737 deliveries could resume in December, and you could see that was like 8:45, so right here. But then you come down here, but then at 11:54 here, and again the stream alerts is on Pacific time here, but that's when it starts to pop up. The news officially hit the wire. So it started moving around there. That's when we caught it, but it was just a rumor and we saw it moving, and then it officially hit the wire. The volume came in and it went crazy from there. So that was a monster play. Shout out to everybody who got it. But you see, that's what the stream alerts, anything happens on stream. That was important, but I didn't play it. The contracts were pricing in like $10, a $10 move for the end of the week. And that was like for like 20 or 30 cents. I was like, it's not going to move there, especially being a Monday. Or I think it was like $60. I was going to do a credit spread, but I was like, it's charging too much. There was that volatility and it came up. You could have gotten late and still killed it. But that was one that I missed personally, but I know a lot of people came up. So shout out to Colt, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So that's going to be a fun one to watch for the rest of the week in general. So keep your eye out that. We said the FSCT, watch the Walmart, and now too, as far as getting into the plays, what I'm going to be also looking at coming in tomorrow, HD. I think they could be one of the plays that moves with Walmart, depending on how Walmart moves. Again, I think they're going to lag and lead, or they're either going to converge with each other or diverge both prior to their earnings or after Walmart reports. We'll see what Home Depot does, but they're going to be a clear sympathy, believe it or not. They're kind of in that same space. And then watch Walgreens. We're holding that as well too in the long term. And again, we'll see what the bid is. I can only imagine how high it could go because of the debt and the size, but we will see. There's not been any other disclosed information. And then lastly to Apple, they're going to be killing it. I want to just see how they lead the market, whether they lead or lag, and see what happens here with the market. Again, I don't know if they'll be the Grim Reaper, but if anything, they're going to have influence on bringing up the broader market or even bringing it down. Then watch AMAT, NVIDIA as well too. I'm still going to keep an eye on them. If they do make a big drop, we will be able to make some sort of move on there, but I think they're at a pretty interesting spot. I think they're just really expensive, but I think think they have the ability to go, and even holding up there, that looks ominous. That's either the big move or the big cuck, so watch out for that. And then also now watch Shop, Roku. You could even watch Disney went up crazy, but Shop was one of these plays. It went up $5 today. It wasn't the best. That's a continuation, but then you see Roku, they went up 7%. So keep your eye on them. Even Square as well, too. They shot up another 2%. But then lastly, TTD. So they went up $22 here. That was a very, very big move. So some of these post-earnings plays are good. That's why I'm saying watch Disney and any of these other companies we've seen report. I think even AMD could fall on that list from a few weeks ago. But I'm going to keep my eyes on those. Then lastly, we're going to be keeping our eye on Qualcomm, seeing how that plays out again. Qualcomm could even set up one of these earning moves, but it had that on Friday, so just watch this push and pull between. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your eyes open, keep your head in the game, be ready to go, stay hydrated, healthy. You guys know what the game is. Be positive, respectful, stay blessed. I'm excited for what we got this week. I think it's going to be fun even coming into next week, so I hope you're ready to go, baby. Let's go!